Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to take you guys on a little journey with me as I complete a tiny kitchen makeover. So I like to begin any project or makeover with some type of drawing. I am very visual and I always need visuals to kind of get me through a project just so I have an idea of what I'm trying to accomplish in a space. So here I'm just browsing online to find some products for the space so I kind of have an idea of what to put in the space and what I want it to look like in the end. So here is an overview of what the current state of the kitchen looks like. So as you guys can see, it's a very small kitchen. Our goal here is to provide some type of storage for this space because it is lacking storage, which makes it hard to function, and it's not really a very functional kitchen, I would say. And we're going to try our best to utilize the wall space. So we want to start by removing everything out of the kitchen, taking the curtains down, removing the microwave, and then we're going to go ahead and add some drywall compound to the drywall. So I'm going to just go ahead and remove the outlet cover, and as you can see, it's already taped, but there was no compound added to the drywall. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my first coat of drywall compound to the wall, let it dry, go ahead, sand it, add another coat, and I'll just repeat until it is complete. So you want to make sure that when you're adding compound to the wall, you're kind of just feathering it out. The first coat, it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to go right back in. And here is what that looks like. And while that is drying, I'm just going to go ahead and remove all the hardware off of the cabinets and prep it for painting. So I'm just going to wipe them off, give them a little sanding just so the paint can properly adhere to the cabinets. And then I wanted to add some trim to the wall. As you can see here, there was a bit of a gap in between the wall and the ceiling, and I felt like the trim really helped to kind of close that gap in a bit. And I'm going to go ahead and add some trim around the windows as well, just to kind of frame it out and add a bit of visual interest to the windows. So this is a rental kitchen, and there's a lot of things that aren't able to be changed, such as the exposed plumbing and things like that are kind of out of my control here. So I'm just doing the best I can in this space. And here is what the trim looks like. So I decided to add some trim on the side of the wall that's right beside our little storage cabinet that will act as a pantry. And here is what that looks like. Just another overview again of the trim. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fill in any of the holes with some wood filler. And then I am going to caulk all the seams along the trim just to give it a nice seamless finish before painting. And I do this around the entire room, guys. It's a bit of a tedious process, but you really want to get this part done to have the most professional kind of finished look that you can get for this space. It's a bit time consuming, but it's worth it in the end to kind of have a neat look. You know, you want your things to look neat. You want it to look as clean as possible. So as time consuming as caulking is, I highly recommend that you take the time out to just caulk the trim in your space. If there is one thing I've learned, guys, when doing any makeover, it's to never take shortcuts. Just get the work done, do what you have to do. You will benefit from a beautiful space in the end. If you're doing a makeover for someone else like I am, they will love you for just being very attentive to details, and I think that's really important. So don't take the shortcuts, don't do sloppy work, just put in the extra work, get it done. You'll be happy with the results in the end. Now I'm just gonna go and revisit the drywall compound and give it a sand before I begin painting the walls. So here I go, just sanding it down, and I'm pouring my paint. So this is a bare paint. I will try to put the color on the screen as long as I can locate the paint palette. I kind of forgot which paint color it was. And now I am just applying the paint to the wall. I must say that I would have probably went with a bit of a lighter gray. I had an idea of what color exactly I wanted to use for this space, but I didn't expect it to show as dark as it did. Nonetheless, it still came out pretty decent. I will again mention the name of the paint color. As I said, it is Bear Paint. So before I proceed with any more painting, I know I'm doing this so backwards, I'm going to go ahead and just apply some tape to the top part of the counter just so I don't get any paint on there while I am painting the rest of the walls. I am going to paint the trim next. The paint is just drying, and yeah, stay tuned. I did also paint the ceiling. Now moving on to this cupboard that we have here in the kitchen. So it is going to act as a pantry in this space because you know storage is very limited in this kitchen. I'm just going to go ahead and paint it this navy color. Again, this is another Bear Paint color. I will go ahead and put it on the screen for anyone who is interested in this color. It was just a nice rich navy color kind of, and I am adding it to the trim, to the cabinet, and I will be adding it to the cupboards as well. And I just think it really just kind of makes the space cohesive because it's on the trim and the cupboard. It will kind of just draw your eye around the room and give it a nice uniformed look and a nice pop of color also. You guys, don't be afraid of color. I mean, paint is one of those things that I feel are very forgiving. And I say this because if you're anything like me, I love to change my mind and I always need change. So paint is one of those things that you can go bold with, you can be a bit daring with, because you can always repaint, and paint is just such an inexpensive way to really update any space. So I did actually lose some footage of me painting, but that's okay. I ended up painting the entire bottom half of the kitchen, even the sink, which you guys will see in the reveal. So moving on, I'm just going to remove the tape now from the trim. Now I am installing some wallpaper as backsplash. So the wallpaper was actually the first piece of material I found for this kitchen makeover, and I absolutely loved it. It had the look of grass cloth, but it was very smooth to the touch. So it appeared though as if it had texture to it, but there was no texture whatsoever, which is great for a kitchen space because it just makes cleaning it much easier. You can easily just wipe it off with a damp cloth if you get anything on there, and you're good to go. And I just really love the look of grass cloth. It's such a elegant, timeless material, and I really fell in love with this, and this really helped me to build up the color palette for this space. And I just take it across the entire wall here, guys, the entire quarter of the wall here. I just really take it and I smooth it out, and I just go. As you can see, it doesn't have to be even because I will be adding some trim just to kind of separate it from the wall, add a bit of depth and interest to this wall space. The thing about wallpaper is it can be a bit of a tedious job, especially depending on the pattern you are using. However, I did find that the grass cloth pattern was very forgiving, which was much easier to work with. I didn't have to line much up. Just be patient with the process if you're installing wallpaper. And here is an overview, guys, of what it looks like on the back wall. And now I will begin to install my trim. So I'm just using a level here to ensure that it's straight. And I'm just using my nail gun to kind of tack it in position and make sure it's well enforced to the wall. And I just do this right across the entire main wall of the kitchen. If you're interested in any items I used in this makeover, I will be sure to do my best to link everything down below. And if I miss anything, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section. I will be glad to answer. Okay, so now we are done installing the trim here. So here's an overview. And before I begin painting, I'm just gonna go ahead and fill in these holes, these nail holes with some wood filler. Just to make sure when I paint it's kind of seamless. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and sand that down just so we can have a nice smooth surface to work with. And I decided to paint it same gray as the wall. So here I am, just painting away at the trim, and I have my fan going because we are on a time crunch, guys. Just to speed up the drying process of the paint, have the fan rolling, and that is what we're doing now. So I'm really passionate about interior and all things home, guys, whether you rent or you own. And I'm very passionate about encouraging people to take on their own DIY projects or makeover projects and not to feel intimidated or discouraged by any makeover at any capacity. Just really take your time and do your research, and it never has to blow the bank. Okay, so from here, I just have my final finishing touches to do because the painting is all done. So these are the shelves that I'll be putting up on this wall here. And then I'm about to hang a dish rack on this wall here. So let's see how that goes. Okay guys, so as easy as it may look, doing this as a one-man job was a bit of a challenge. Honestly, it took me about almost an hour just to put up this pot rack here. Nonetheless, we got it done, okay? So I'm just marking out where the screws go, and I'm using my drill, putting some holes in the wall, and I'm going to anchor it just to ensure that it's secure because it's not being screwed onto any studs or anything. So you always want to just make sure you're anchoring anything that's going to be holding any type of weight, any heavy weight on the walls. You just want to make sure you're adding your anchors in just to secure the drywall. Okay guys, so this pot rack honestly ended up being a big space saver. I mean, it's very functional. I would recommend it if you have a small space and you have extra wall space that you can utilize. I find it to be very, very, very functional for any tiny space. And it's a beautiful way to display your pots as well. So I put this up and I forgot I didn't even do the blinds yet. So hopefully that's not an issue. I think I should be able to like slip it through the side here. So this is that. Let me put the clips on them. So these things come with a lot of these clips, which I think is great. And then I'm just gonna store them in this right direction. And then whenever they're needed, they're there. The blinds are finally up. Okay guys, so this is my last day on this project and I am just kind of completing the last bit of work that needs to be done for the space. So here I am sanding the shelves down and staining them, and I really had a difficult time with these shelves because the depth was a bit too long for the space and my blade on my miter saw was a bit too short to complete a crosscut. So I really had to get creative just to adjust the depth of these shelves. But glory be to God, I got through it and it worked out, and here we are. So I am just going to be staining these and wiping off the excess stain with some paper towel. And here we go. I'm about to install the faucet and drill a new hole because it is a single hole faucet, and we are done, guys. Okay guys, and just a reminder, here is what the kitchen looked like before. Lacking storage, not so pretty. And here is the after. Guys, I really loved the way this space turned out. I mean, we used color, we didn't have to compromise on style, and this is just to show you that you don't have to have a huge space. It can be small, work with what you have. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.